here at Hardcore Closer. I've got a podcast, a free book, some other stuff that you can take advantage of there as well. And that was, you know, I became about the Hardcore Closer process about, that was the name that was given to me, I guess, about a year and a half ago. But I've been in the internet marketing space in the real estate world for 3 years full time. It wasn't something that like one day I woke up and decided I wanted to be an internet marketer. As a matter of fact, in the beginning when I was telling real estate agents and loan officers 3 years ago that you could make money from Facebook, you know, I might as well have been trying to sell credit repair walking in their buildings or whatever, because they were like, get out of here, there's no way, like you're crazy, Facebook's for friends and family, right? And but lo and behold, sticking with it, being the consistent idiot that I am and sticking with everything, being consistent and learning and constantly seeing what was happening and then watching my personal business grow. And then what I've always done is the things that work for me, I turn around and teach and share them with other people. So the things that I'm going to share with you today are not like hypothetical or philosophical or something that I'm going to tell you to do that there's no way in the world that I would do. These are the things that I've done that have worked for me, that are proven, that have also worked for my clients. And so the simple things and ideas that I'm going to share with you today will probably resonate with you and make a lot of sense to you, but at the same time, they're not just theories, they're like proven facts. So
awesome.
With all that said, before I can get into like teaching you a little bit, some tricks and strategies about social media, we first got to understand exactly what's going on behind the scenes over at, with communication as a whole. So I call this the evolution of communication. This is one of my keynote, this is a part of my keynote speech that I give, that I have given and still continue to give on the stage from coast to coast in front of real estate mortgage companies. So it's the best way that I know to get you of the mindset to where things are in reality and to where they're going in the future. So let's just get started. So the evolution of communication works like this. Everything that I'm going to tell you, you might as well embrace it because this stuff's going to happen with or without you. So here's what I'm going to give you with this speech, a new way of looking at Facebook and really social media as a prospecting platform. And I'm going to give you the path that Facebook is on for the future and how this affects you and ultimately your business as well. And I'm going to give you a better way to sell more stuff on Facebook or social media without being, you know, pushy or any of that kind of stuff. Okay, so here's the evolution of communication. So in the beginning when we communicated, like let's just say as a joke, people had wires and aluminum cans, right? And from there it grew into like the operating system like you've seen on the TV show Lassie. You called an operator, she plugged a wire in somewhere, you talked to your neighbor. Then we got direct dial landline systems at our home. And then in the 80s, cell phones arrived on the scene. Well, with cell phones, people started saying things like, well, you know, there's these other ways to contact me, and so my cell phone is for my friends and family and emergencies only. And so, you know, people were greedy or didn't want to give out their number. They didn't want to do business after hours. That was back in the good old days. We used to take Sundays and Saturdays off and all that stuff, right? But the truth is, smart salespeople said, you know what, I don't care how expensive my phone bill is. My clients pay me good money to do business with them, and if I open this line of communication up and allow anybody to reach me at any point, and I can be like totally mobile and available at all times to my clients, I bet you they'll love me and I'll make more money. And that's exactly what happened. So those that didn't do it and those that didn't give out their cell phone numbers in the beginning are ultimately forced to give them their cell phone numbers now, because if you don't give your clients your cell phone numbers and say contact me at any time, or your referral partners or whatever, then something's not right, right? They don't want to just call your office. Nobody's looking for that line because they know you don't have your office phone in your hand. The next thing that popped on the scenes, and let's just say the 90s, was email. And people said the same things with email. They said things like, well, email's just for my friends and family. I don't want to get like porn or spam or Nigerian bank scams or any of that stuff, right? And I don't want to give my email address to anybody, so I'm just going to only give it out to people I know, like, and trust. But then those same smart people that had cell phones for business in the 80s said, you know what? Email, cell phone, websites are available. I'm going to put my email address and my cell phone number on this thing called a website. That way anybody in the world can reach out to me 24 hours a day because I want to do business, I want to make money, and I want to provide service above and beyond everybody else to my customers and clients. And so those that, you know, and it got to a point with email to where now when you get a job somewhere, they give you a business email address, right? Because they know that people are still leery about their personal email address. So they give you a business email address because that's a preferred mechanism of communication for a lot of people. Same thing happened in 2003, 2005. Text messages arrived on the scene, and people said things like, well, I'm not going to learn to text. If somebody wants to talk to me, they can pick up the phone and call me, right? Like, and all these arrogant things that we say as humans because we don't embrace change, right? But the truth is, like right now, if you're making phone calls and you're not sending text messages to your prospects, just know that text messages have a 90+% rate, at least open rate, and a very extremely high engagement and return rate, whereas emails have like 14 to 16 on average, and TV doesn't reach anybody. Like text is a very serious communication right now. Matter of fact, in January of this year, 2013, Time magazine wrote a report, and they basically said that 2011 was the last year we talked. They said that in 2012 there was more instant messages, text messages, and emails sent. And matter of fact, voice communication became the least used mechanism to communicate with people. So think about that. If you're making cold calls and stuff like that, that same article even went on to say that 86% of phone calls go unanswered. Think about how many times during the day you hit the end button because you're in the middle of something, or you have to ignore it because you're on the other line, and then you call them back and they hit the end button, and you play, phone tag after phone tag after phone tag. Right? So
wow.
If you're trying to use these archaic, and they're not necessarily archaic, but if you're trying to use them with archaic methods, they're not very effective, right? And so video chat is the next evolution of communication on that. Now people use things like FaceTime. We use YouTube to get our messages out there. And let me just put some perspective in video as well. First of all, if you're not doing videos, you're robbing future generations of who you are. Okay, so let's just take business off the table, and let's just talk real about what a video is. See, I was born in 1979, and my grandfather died in 1976, or my great-grandfather. I never got to meet him. But all my life, I've grown up and people said, Ryan, you're just like your great-grandfather Dick, right? And at first I thought everybody was calling me a Dick, but then I realized that was really his name, right? So just kidding. But so they said, Ryan, you're just like your great-grandfather. Man, I wish you could have met him, but all I have is like a faded old picture. And people back in the black and white picture days, they didn't really smile too much because they didn't have the best teeth, and they had mustaches. So he just looks like, Black Bart the train robber, really. I didn't really get to see his personality. But see, my future generations, and you have the chance to take action right now, your future generations will be able to look back at videos on YouTube or Wistia or whatever you decide to host your videos on, and they'll be able to look back and they'll say things like, you know what, my great-grandfather Ryan was a blithering idiot. Do you see these videos that they used to make in 2013, right? But that's okay. They'll at least be able to see me. But most likely, they're going to be able to look back and go, wow, that's where I get my DNA from. I'm just like my great-grandfather. It's too bad I couldn't meet him, but at least I get to watch a lot of videos and stuff that he made about his business, his family, his thoughts, and things like that, to where they'll have some sort of reminisce, right? What if, and just to take like worst-case scenario, what if I left my house today and died, and my son is 2 years old? He'd never remember who I was or what I looked like, but the fact that I have 300 videos on YouTube, he'd have a way to at least feel some sense of connection to me, sad as that sounds. So if you're not doing video for, any purposes, you're really robbing future generations. Now back to the business side of video. A video can be treated as a salesperson, right? So every time I get on video, I'm giving some, I'm calling my audience out, I'm giving some value, and then I'm giving them a call to action, right? The next step would be to click or buy or whatever the case may be. But see, once I make that video once, and once I put it out there, that video is basically me selling my services 24 hours a day to anybody who watches that video without me having to pick up the phone, without me having to bug people, without me having to spam email people. It's actually people searching for that subject matter or looking for that particular topic that I put on video, or looking for the thing that I could help them with that the video's about. And I don't have to do any pre-selling to these people. When they reach out to me because of the videos, then they're already pre-sold, and they're there to make some sort of decision about what we can do together. So I want you to keep in mind how powerful videos really are. And so the next step in the evolution of communication, for this purpose, we'll call it Facebook, but it's really social media. And if you think about it, here's what Facebook's done. Facebook, first of all, if you don't know, it's artificial intelligence. But the second thing is Facebook has taken all these things right here, besides the aluminum can operator system, right? But they've taken the landline, cell phones, email, text, video chat, and instant message, everything else that you could think of, and combined it into one platform that is a super friendly way to communicate with people. Think about it. There's no negative experiences on Facebook. You can't dislike a post. You can't hate something somebody says without actually going and typing it in, which still counts as a comment, right? You have to like, you have to share, you have to be friends. There's like this whole, neuro-linguistic programming of an encouraging relationship on there, and it makes things a lot more friendly to prospect if you know what you're doing. But more importantly with Facebook, like Chad said, there's over 1 billion or so people on there. But Facebook still has that you've got mail feeling to it, right? When you get a message on Facebook or the little globe goes off and it's something you care about, you're interested in that. If someone sends you a message, even if it's your birthday, you're still like, oh, wow, how sweet, right? But the truth is, people are still doing with Facebook, not as bad as they were when I first got into this 3 years ago, but people are still doing with Facebook what they've done with every other communication mechanism that we've had since the beginning of time. And they're saying Facebook is just a place for friends and family. And then if you argue with them, they say, look, it even says it on the homepage. But the truth is, Facebook is for your friends and family. But why wouldn't you want to do business with people you're friends with? Why wouldn't you want to make friendly relationships in this super social world that we live in and only do business with agents or loan officers or title companies or credit repair clients that you like? Right? That's the cool thing about social media is you're able to be yourself and attract the right people that are interested in the same things as you. Like you'd never think some of the off-the-cuff things that I'm interested in, a lot of other people that are in the mortgage and financial and real estate sectors would be interested in as well. But turns out, a lot of us think that, oh, well, nobody else is interested in that. But I want you to think about the things that you could put out there on Facebook to attract the right people. People are into things like LARPing. Right? If that's like something that's popular where people dress up in medieval costumes and go have battles that are fake or they reenact the Civil War, dude, if there's a lot of people into that, what makes you think whatever you're into, there's not a lot of people that you would enjoy working with and surrounding yourself with on Facebook, right? And the reason why I tell you all of that is if you're not using Facebook to prospect clients in the way that I'm going to show you here in a second, if you're not using Facebook to reach out to people, and to communicate with people and strike up a relationship, then you're using these other methods, then you're really working harder than you have to. Because the bottom line with social media and Facebook in a whole is that it's just a super easy, friendly way to communicate with everybody, and it's the next step. Everybody's got the Facebook app on their phone. You can even make phone calls from there. Like Facebook is going to be they've even got their own phones out right now. So it's all encompassing. So I want you to also know this. You're being Googled. So, if you're in the banking or real estate industry, you can imagine that even if you're calling lower my bill leads or whatever the case may be, before they do business with you, they're going on Google to see if you're on the Better Business Bureau as a loser or if you're on the rip-off report or any of that stuff. So, you want to be able to know that the first things that show up when people Google you is either Facebook or LinkedIn, right? A lot of times LinkedIn lately seems to have the juice, but Facebook's usually number 2. Well, people know that LinkedIn is like a resume, so they're not really trying to see what fake business stuff you put on there. So they want to see who you are on Facebook. And so if you have a private profile or you make your post only available to your friends, when people show up there and they're not connected to you yet, it looks like you're hiding something. And I know what you're saying, but I don't want my profile to be public. That Facebook's for my friends and family only, right? But you're missing out on interacting with people that are just like you that would like to connect with you if you're hiding your profile. And if you think about it, you just say, well, look, I don't want people to look at pictures of my kids or what I'm up to or the fact that I drank in the night the other night, went to the bar or have a girlfriend, whatever the case, right? None of that stuff matters. First of all, that's legal. And second of all, you get the chance to be the personality that you want on Facebook, but also you have to understand that, in light of today's controversies, the NSA has access, which is like tens of thousands of employees, has access to your Facebook. Facebook alone has 5,000 employees, and they have all access to look at your Facebook. They're complete strangers who have nothing to do with you, right? Any app that you've ever signed up for has, a few hundred to a few thousand employees that also have access to look at your Facebook profile. So you're hiding stuff if you keep your profile private. You're hiding stuff from people who could potentially give you money while you're an open book to people who could care less about you. Just something to think about, ladies and gentlemen. So, and there you have it. On this particular example, Facebook showed up the number 4 spot. So, with all that in mind, I say that to say this. Wait for it. You got to love the slow internet. That's right, everybody. So, I'm going to show you in live action here. Obviously, you see that for requests and some other stuff here. But in real time, in live action, exactly how I post on Facebook and actually how I promote my business and actually how I get people to engage so that you can do the same thing. So I'm going to like walk you through a live step on exactly what I do, why I'm doing it, so that way you can get an idea of how to craft your business around it as well. I think so many people, like I said in the beginning, they want to have, pre-slides of stuff of that one post that they had that was really good a while ago, and I just, I continue to do this craft on a daily basis, so I want to share with you the whole concept behind it. So today, the next thing that we're talking about here is creating a Facebook syndicate, right? It works for LinkedIn or YouTube, but for this particular training, we'll use Facebook. And if the definition of a syndicate is people who conspire to take out a common action, right? And so as you can see, I'm not like Mr. Popular. I don't have a maxed out friends list or, thousands of followers or anything like that. It's just, I've been doing this since 2008, slowly but surely, one friend request at a time. I've added 3,738 people on here. So, and it's just been a steady building process. Every time I've went to a network event, every time I've spoke on stage. Right now, if you're watching this, be sure to send me a friend request. I'll accept it. I've obviously got plenty of room to accept all the way up to 5,000. And I believe that it's important that we use Facebook as a Rolodex and that we connect on there. So with all that being said, I'm going to show you today the power of a Facebook syndicate. So this is a post that I put out there an hour ago, totally relevant to our industry. I keep pausing because my phone is going off a million miles an hour over here. My ADD keeps kicking in, so I'm just going to put this towel over it and a brick on top of it, and then so that I quit looking away, dang it. All right, sorry about that. There is no secret that Ryan Stuman has a major case of ADD. So, and there is no telling, hence the weed plant over there in the corner, there is no telling what may show up in my news feed here in a minute, but it will not be any porn, so don't worry about that. And thank you for whoever just sent me a friend request. This is something that's totally relevant to our industry, right? This morning on Bloomberg.com, they reported that Bank of America is going to send property reviews to India. Now, let's just, for a second, as real estate professionals, let's just laugh for a minute so that we don't break our computers or phones or whatever you're listening to on this. But think of that. People who have no idea what an American home even looks like, right? Have never stepped foot, maybe don't even know what carpet looks like, right? I have outsourcers and things like that, but a lot of friends over in India, and the conditions are not there like they are here. And so these are people who really have no clue, even the abundance that we live in here in America, but yet they're going to send our reviews over there for these people to review. So that's very frustrating, something that's very controversial. One of the things that I found works best, whether you guys believe it or not, is using controversial stuff on Facebook. Because people have opinions. People like to chime in. People like to say things that are on their mind. So what your job to do is, to get people to say those things so that your edge rank goes up, which I'll give you the lowdown on that here in just a second. So I put this article out here, and the truth is I didn't even read it, right? I opened it up, skimmed over it, got the gist of it, and put it out here. And so, I give everybody a common bond, right? Everybody bitches right now about, low appraisals or whatever the case may be. Actually, that's not as big a problem right now as it has been, but even so. So I put something out here that's controversial, and you can see the first person that chimes in is a real estate agent. Second person that chimes in is a loan officer, another real estate agent, and another real estate agent, right? So they have their own opinions on this. So what I do every time that somebody chimes in, and I make sure that I like it, even if they say some like just totally terrible comment, right? I always like it because I want people to be acknowledged for chiming in on my post. I want people to feel like they can chime in on my post and that they're welcome there, right? And as you can see, some people, are following. Christy's one of my syndicate clients, so she's actually following the method as well. But if you'll see what I did right here, I shared this from a friend of mine's wall. So if Patrick here, I won't pull him up, but let's just say Patrick's got 1,000 friends. And so all of a sudden that link that Patrick had, and I exposed it as well, and I've got, let's just say for even purposes, 4,000 friends. So all of a sudden, instead of Patrick getting exposure to only his 1,000 friend list, he's also now got an exposure to an additional 4,000 people. Well, guess what? I've got a lot of friends in Massachusetts that may want to reach out to Patrick and ask him to do their loans, or ask them to hook up with him just because they see that he's connected to me now. And so what that does is that also boosts up what Facebook calls EdgeRank. And if you're not familiar with that, that's basically SEO for Facebook. And I'll explain that before we end today, but I want to continue going on here. And you can see that somebody even shared this from here, which is my good buddy Nick Carpenter, right? So let's say Nick's got another 2,000 friends on his Facebook page. So now all of a sudden we're at 7,000 people seeing Patrick Queeley's post just because I shared it and Nick shared it, plus not to count the people that liked this and chimed in are also getting exposure. Their friends, while they're scrolling the news feed, see things like Christy Hamilton Hembry commented on Ryan Stewman's status. And all this leads back to Patrick, which, believe it or not, because of the edge ranking system I'll explain here in a second, makes sure that his post is in the news feed for the majority part of the day, and that news post has to deal with banking and it advertises him as an expert. As simple as that may seem, it is so super powerful and easy, and it's all about how you position your post. So that's one post for the day. You see we got one like, a few comments, and a share, right? What I always try to do as well, not only like their comments, but if they have something serious to say or a question, I always go down there and respond. So, and if there's nothing really to respond to, I always try to ask a question to keep the conversation going, because as many comments as you can get, the better your edge rank. I promise I'm going to explain that in a minute. So before we move on, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Right? So I'm going to go ahead and ask a question. A big thing to remember on social media is that engaging content ends with a question, right? Statements end in periods. So if I say, I had lunch today, you're like, okay, maybe you like it, maybe you could care less, right? But if I said, I had a hamburger for lunch today, what did you eat? As you're scrolling through there, if you have ADD like me, you're going to be compelled to say a salad or whatever the case, right? You just got a lot better chance of engaging people because it's just like having a conversation. You want to end it in a question so that there's a reason for them to respond, which will add to your comment count and everything else. So let's go down to the next one. And notice what I've done here is I've taken something that's hilarious to me, right? Whether you like stupid slapstick humor or not, I found this sticker and thought it was hilarious. And so apparently so did a lot of other people, right? Few shares, 18 comments. So I knew that this right here, because it's funny, was going to build up a lot of comments, a lot of shares, and a lot of likes, right? Because what's not to like about someone that has a sticker saying they have to poop, right? That's just really funny, especially if you're an immature guy like me. That's hilarious. And those are the kind of people I seem to attract on Facebook, so it's hilarious for them too. But I knew that this was going to build up a lot of momentum, so I wanted to put something above it that would gain off the momentum of this as people are coming on my page to see what else I said that has to do with the industry I'm in, and that happens to be the real estate industry. And so I not only got people to my page, and the conversation started this morning by making people laugh. The next thing they saw from me and they were able to chime in again on was something related to my work. Again, every time somebody shows this, even though it's a sticker of me having to poop, we could say, again, there's probably 7,000 people that see this post as opposed to just my 4,000 friends. But I'm exposed to those 3 other 1,000 people, and they have a chance to go, oh, this guy must be funny. He has stickers about poop. I need to send him a friend request. And that's when I get to start the bonding and trust and influence process that you can use on Facebook. So I hope I'm not losing you. And before I posted this as well, I also right here posted that we were going to do a little business, which is the webinar that we're on right now. So you see how I strategically posted business, something hilarious to gain momentum, and then something that was controversial that was still related to business, right? And see, all that does is draw an engagement. It's something simple, same things that you're interested in, the same things you want to talk about. A lot of times other people want to talk about as well. And so now, with all that in mind, I want to show you what I call a Facebook syndicate. And I've done this just by proxy because I've been using this method for over 1.5 years now, I guess, since I came up with it. But I want to show you how powerful it can be in your real estate or in your mortgage business or really whatever you're in. So the power of syndication is sharing people's stuff, right? So if you have a real estate agent like this, for example, my buddy Patrick, he has a very important banking information, nothing about interest rates or the bond market or stuff that the masses don't care about and that's boring with, but he has something that's actually of value that I want to share and get out there, right? The only reason you would want to share anybody's anything is if it's something that's worth sharing, right? You want to keep it real. You don't want to just do stuff for the fun of it. The bottom line is I shared this with Patrick, right? We're part of a syndicate together. Next thing here, so we'll scroll down here. Dawn, the real estate lady, she is part of my syndicate. So when she has some exciting news, she comes and posts it on my wall because she understands that she has 1,000 friends and I have 4,000. So every time she posts on my wall, that's an advertisement to potentially 5,000 people versus her 1,000. So that gives me leverage on her and a reason for her to want to come post on my page. Same thing, one of my good friends and clients as well, Brandon. He shares stuff on my page that's interesting as well because he gets this. He knows that this chick that's about to bang her head into the wall is absolutely hilarious, so he gets that, right? And these are all people that are part of my syndicate. You see, I'm not posting as much as you would think I was. It's other people posting on my page as well, right? And these are all people that are part of my syndicate. And now let me explain what that is. A syndicate works like this. Like I said, it's a group of people conspiring to take action. So if you have a real estate agent, a credit repair person, a mortgage officer, a title company, and an insurance agent. That's 5 people, right? If a real estate agent takes a listing that's really nice, now we're not talking about no trailer, you know, in Detroit or something like that, but if a real estate agent takes a really nice listing that's believable, that there's a reason people would want to look at it, right? It must go quick, it's nice. If the real estate agent takes that listing, you, the mortgage person, reach out and share that on Facebook. And then you invite your title company, credit repair company, and insurance person to also share that post on Facebook. Well, what happens is now, again, you've got 5,000 people exposing that real estate agent's listing, and you're all working together to help that agent sell that property versus just you posting it or that agent posting it on their page. Now, it's important that you share it and not copy and paste the link because that helps with EdgeRank. And EdgeRank works just like this. Click. So EdgeRank works like this. The things that are in your news feed are the equivalent to being in the front page of Google, right? When you go to Google and you Google things, right? So when you go to Google and you Google things, real simple. This right here, well, that's probably bad. Let's do this. Bad example. All right, so when you look up mortgage on Google, for example, you know that these are advertisements, and you really, for the most part, don't pay attention to what's going on past these first 3 or 4 search results, right? Well, the same thing is going on over here with the news feed on Facebook, and you may not realize this, but this little thing right here is called the ticker. What I call it is the sidebar of doom, because if your posts are showing up over here, that means you have no EdgeRank, and because you have no EdgeRank, what that means your post showed up, that's a interesting looking group of characters. But because you have no EdgeRank, your posts wind up over here, and that's the same as your search results on Google winding up over here. There's an extremely low chance of anybody clicking on them. So there's an extremely low chance of anybody engaging in your content. So what you want to do is you want to wind up in the news feed here, and EdgeRank is what determines if you wind up in this news feed, okay? And so the way that EdgeRank works, you want to take notes, is 3 simple components: weight, affinity, and time decay. All right, so let me show you exactly how this works. So you've got weight. Weight is the amount of people that like it, the amount of people that share it, and the amount of people that comment on it. So the more weight that Christoph Chu's post right here has, the less likely it is to go over there in that sidebar of doom, right? The more weight, and if you think of what weight does, is it pulls it out of here and puts it into the news feed right there. I warned you what you might see on my news feed here. But it pulls you out of that sidebar of doom and into the news feed, right? So it's like Google Juice, but for Facebook. So the more people that share it, engage it, comment on it, the more weight it gets, the heavier it gets, and the more it leaves it, that weight leaves it in the news feed, right? Facebook uses a lot of make sense comparisons. The next thing is affinity. So the more that you like a person's post, so what I always do is as I'm scrolling through the news feed, I always try to like people's posts that I like to see on a regular basis, let them know that, you know, I appreciate them posting, because after all, if people are putting something out here, on they and acknowledge them, and now if they have something that I feel like engaging in, I'll leave a comment as well. But each time that I click the like button on somebody's post, the affinity goes up, right, which is the second component of EdgeRank. Affinity is how much you interact with another person. So chances are, if I hit the like button on your post, all of a sudden you're going to see one of my posts, and you're going to potentially reciprocate as well. And the more that we start interacting with each other, the higher the affinity has, so the more important your posts are to me, according to Facebook. So that's one of the reasons why you see the same people's posts over and over. Even though you have 100 friends, you only see 20 people's posts over and over and over again. And that's because those are the 20 people that you have affinity with, that you tend to like their post, or you tend to look on their pages the most, or whatever the case. Now, the third part of EdgeRank is time decay. Now, you see most of these right here have, 8 minutes ago. 8 minutes ago. Let's just go to the top, see if we can go to most recent. We'll hit the refresh button here. Okay, so you see that this person posted 34 seconds ago. On average, he's got about a minute and a half, and if nobody hits the like button, and if nobody comments or nobody shares it, this post goes from right here to over here in the sidebar of doom. They give you about a minute and a half. It's really like 77 seconds, I believe, that they give you in order for someone, because you have so many friends on Facebook that it's going through that news feed. They're logged in. If nobody engages in it, then Facebook says it must be trash. Put it in the it's not going to get any engagement. Put it in the sidebar of doom where nobody can see it, so we don't annoy people with it. And so you've got this time decay of about 77 seconds. So as people post through here, you see we have a whole different set of posts than we had just a minute ago, right? The ones that didn't make it or have any engagement got put over in the sidebar of doom. But I can tell you this, there's a few of them back. They have comments and likes, so they're remaining back in here. Same with Christoph Chews right here. So here's the other thing. If I was to go right through here now and like this, guess what? His 77 seconds in the news feed starts all over again. So you can't control time decay, but what you can do is you can start that process over and over again. You ever been scrolling through your news feed and you see somebody's picture come up from like 2009 and you're like, what in the world did that come from? That's because somebody just recently hit the like button, so Facebook thinks it's relevant, decides to show it in the news feed again for a couple minutes to see if anybody else will engage on that post. So once you understand all three of those components, understand that you're trying to get people to chime in. The best way to do that is using question marks. Understanding that you're trying to get your post seen in the news feed, and the best way to do that is to have weight and affinity with people. The next step is to make sure that you're communicating with the people that you either A, want to get business from, or B, that want to get business from you, and that you're communicating with them to make sure that they're chiming in on your important posts. Send them a message saying, hey, would you mind commenting or sharing or liking this post? I'll do the same for you if you need it, but we need to get the word out on this, especially if you're a real estate agent and you have all these millions of people calling you, begging you for business. Every time somebody picks up the phone for a sales call, you should be like, yeah, I'd be more than happy to meet you as long as you're going to buy me lunch. Matter of fact, go and share my listings on your Facebook wall between now and then, right? Put them to work for you. You don't have to be as quite abrasive as I am, but I'm sure you get the gist of it. And so, that is the power of a syndicate. Once you create and organize a group of people that you want to do business with, your referral partners, all that other stuff, you can beat this edge ranking system and make sure that your important messages get engaged with and get shared and potentially go viral over and over and over again. So all that makes sense, Chad? Am I coming through loud and clear, good buddy?
Loud and clear, loud and clear.
All right, so from there, go back over to my page here. And so that gives you, I guess, like the overall gist of how to position yourself, how to attract the right people, and the fact that one last thing that I want to bring up before I let Chad ask me some questions here is, again, you want to make sure that most of you probably have this set like this right now. So you want to make sure you go over here and that you make it public, because this is something that if people are Googling my name and they happen to come on my Facebook page, I want the public to see, right? I want them to see that I'm involved in somewhat on the real estate level, or at least I care about it. And I want them to know publicly that I'm in a hurry, right? So, all right. So, Chad, I understand that there's been some questions sent in that you may have for me.
All right. First of all, I guess the first question would be from me as opposed to from the group. Where can I get that poop sticker?
Yeah. Oh no, man. I need to get an affiliate link for it.
There you go. There you go. No, I just figured I would ask what everyone else was already thinking. So yeah, head on over to Amazon. I'm sure they got it.
What's funny about that, man, is I couldn't tell you how many times that I have been speeding because I'm in a hurry to do something. I'm like, if I get pulled over, that's just what I'm going to tell them. But I'm sure they hear it all the
Right,
time.
right. Oh yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. So no, I'd say I'm seeing some questions coming over, but I did see one from earlier that had actually a phenomenal question, and that was so you have basically chosen to have a personal profile as opposed to setting up a business profile such as a fan page or whatnot. Can you speak to that a little bit?
There is a very specific reason for both. Okay, I have both, but I focus on my personal page because people do business, especially in real estate, with people they know, like, and trust within our sphere of influence. You do business with the people that are in your email list, your Rolodex, your cell phone. I look at Facebook, just like I said, as the next level of communication. And so, engaging with people and interacting with people in the marketplace and all that is super important because, if I'm connected to an agent in Dallas, Texas, most likely she's connected to a couple loan officers. Most likely they're connected to a couple title companies and insurance companies. So, using your personal page to get to know all those other people and accepting, random friend requests that aren't from like foreigners with, asking for money and stuff like that, right? Like as long as you just continue to use your Facebook page to engage people. I look at it this way, like your personal Facebook page is like people coming over to your house or you hanging out at their house or the bar or whatever. It's a great place to, off the cuff chat business. You don't want to brag too much. You don't want to talk too much. I look at the perfect, what I call the Facebook cocktail, or the perfect mixture of business to pleasure post is, you need to post to pleasure, something that you're into, a song or checking in for lunch or whatever, to every one time you talk about work. And so, the Facebook personal page is a chance for me to really interact with people, make them feel like they're my friends. Now, on the other hand, and some of you that work for big corporations can't do this anyway. I know some of my higher end elite clients that work for the bigger banks can't do this, but I use my hardcore closer, which is my business page, as a place to run ads, right? It's a place that if people are coming here, they're either interested in buying my stuff or what I have to say on my blog. So that's what I provide here. And so you can see, like, for example, right here, this is something that's been seen by 31,000 people. It has 18 shares, and it's a video I did about videos, right? Imagine that. But yes, I use this specifically for business. Now, I may share some of these things over on my personal page, but I don't put things like poop stickers and things like that over here on my business page because people are, if they're looking on my business page, they're looking for a specific business reason, and so I try to make sure that I know my audience. Whereas on my personal page, it's like literally anything goes. And like if I scroll down, you can see the power of a syndicate. Not only is there a lot of people that are leaving stuff on my walls, which is a good thing, ladies and gentlemen, as long as it's not spam. Because, I mean, like there's a real estate agent bragging about T-Boone Pickens being connected to him on LinkedIn. That's pretty cool. Those are the kind of things I want people to leave on my wall because, A, it's social proof that I'm cool, right? Well, if all these people are interacting and leaving cool stuff on Ryan's wall, he must be an all right guy to connect with. Right? And you can see all my real estate agents leave their listings on my wall if they're nice. Like you see Colleen, she landed a 10,000 square foot, $800,000 listing. That's something that needs to go on my wall to let the local community know. And you can see there's quite a few comments, shares. It's because the power of her and her tagging her syndicate. These are the people that belong to her syndicate.
Wow.
She's one of the clients, obviously. Pretty darn powerful, huh?
Yeah. Yes. I'm looking at that home.
And I'll show you something real quick if you look right here. So I may have a buyer for this one. Can you send me the address?
There
and
you go.
You can't sell houses on Facebook.
Love it. Love it.
So answer that?
So essentially then, just to kind of break down what you're stating here is what you have is almost a funnel here that you've created. It's a two-step process. You're using one profile. You're not choosing one or the other. You've set up both, but you're using one as more of a entry funnel and, proof and credibility and all that other stuff. And then the other side is being used as more of an engagement tool to get to bring them from that first step to actually know, like, and trust you. So you're just kind of going back and flipping back and forth to kind of shoot that traffic from one side to the other to help bring them to the next level.
Absolutely. And I'm the type of person that every time I meet somebody, Like, I don't carry business cards. I just tell, hey, you have Facebook on your phone real quick, send me a friend request. Like, I want everybody to connect with me until I get maxed out, because you never know.
Well, what I like about this is that it's such a simple thing. In other words, it's low risk, and that's what really everything boils down to these days. Is there's a natural risk assessment that takes place before we take an action. Before I give some stranger my home address and phone number, well, that's high risk if I have no clue who the heck you are. But somebody clicking to add you on Facebook, I mean, if they don't like you, they can defriend you. I mean, it's such a low risk step to that you could literally sit behind a computer screen and add dozens and dozens of individuals, even if you've only met them once or twice. And then you could take them from that first step of getting them to click to connect with you to actually engaging them and getting them to know, like, and trust you very, very rapidly. It has a certain amount of, built-in credibility there when they see, hey, Ryan has, 4,000 friends, and, hey, Ryan's helped this person, just help this person sell a home, and whatnot. I mean, it just makes a difference. And I really like how that is a low risk, easy to take first step.
Yep. And people Google me and they land on there. That's exactly what they see. They're like, wow, he has a lot of agents and loan officers engaging on his page. He must be who he says he is. He
Perfect.
Must be who I thought he was.
Perfect. No, I love it. And that just kind of speaks to one of the things I've had a lot of arguments, or I guess I should say debates, with individuals who claim that when you're on Facebook, it should be all business, and I like how you're demonstrating here live the exact opposite. We live in a world where the attention span has dwindled and dwindled and dwindled to the point where we want to be instantly entertained, almost 24/7. So you're taking more of an infotainment approach to what you're doing here. You're entertaining and you're educating at the same time. And and you said you've been doing that for the past year and a half, and quite obviously that's been working extraordinarily well for you. Which leads to a very wonderful question: is where are you finding your content? What are you doing to find these interesting things to post and repost and chat about?
I like to take a lot of mushrooms and come up with really creative psychological ways to do things. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe. No, I'm a student of the game, 1,000,000%. Like, I'm always looking to see, like, for example, Volkswagen and Old Spice run really good Facebook and social media campaigns. And I see the things that they do, and it's successful, and I try to model it around how I could fit in and do that same type of thing. But I'm 1,000,000% indulged in the game at all time. Like, I have alerts come off for every time new technology pops up to where it's something that I can blog about or something I can talk about. One of the best things that I can tell everybody on this webinar to do is there's a site called it's If This Then That. So it's ifttt.com, right? And one of the things you can sign up, and it's a free service. It's actually really, really cool. But one of the coolest things you can sign up for on there is right here, this IFTTT action. Every day it gives you 10 things you need to know this morning. So you see at 6:30 a.m. my time, I got 10 things I need to know this morning. There is usually some really good talking points in here, right? Like, there's usually something that you can put out there, put your opinion about it, and then ask a question, right? So like new waterproof smartphones, that's something that people are probably into. PCs are going away, T-Mobile's new service. There's just every day there's something that's really cool that comes out from that service that allows me to have really cool content. Things like Facebook added, folders to Facebook Home, and all these things that I know people in my industry want to talk about and stay on top of. So this is a really easy way to check cool news to talk about every morning. And it's the ifttt.com, and it's called 10 Things You Need to Know This Morning.
Perfect. Awesome. And just so you know, Travis loved your mushrooms comment. But Travis had another question here: is are you paying to promote your posts? And if so, do you have a budget that you apply? Are you paying to boost your EdgeRank, or what? How's that process work for you?
On my personal page, never. I don't pay the $5 or $10 to boost my posts on my personal page. That's what I have my business page for. And yeah, I spend like $5,000 a month on Facebook ads over there. But I probably see I don't want to give numbers, but I see a very large ROI from that.
Right.
As you and I were talking about before. So, but yeah, I do pay for my posts on my business page. So matter of fact, every time I upload a video that's a salesman or a sales announcement or a call to action or some kind of special that I'm running, then I usually put $100 a day behind it.
Excellent, excellent. Now, just for those of you who are maybe unaware of what we're chatting about here, Facebook does give you an option that when you make a post, if you want it to appear in more news feeds, because you might have heard Ryan tossing around a term called EdgeRank. And do you want to perhaps delve a little deeper into what EdgeRank is, Ryan, for those who may be new to the
I explained it all just, the 3 ways of how it works just a second ago, but,
okay.
Here's an example of promoting your post on your personal page. They want $6.99 for, all my friends to see it at least once. So in the way that I got here was I just hit the promote button. So
perfect, perfect.
And then, but I'll show you real quick on the business page, they call it boost.
There we go.
So this page is boost right there. So
perfect, perfect. Excellent. And I'm just kind of scrolling through some of these questions here, see what's been answered, what has not. All right. So here's a really interesting question I'm sure is on a lot of people's mind is how much time do you have to spend on Facebook to make this pay off? Because Dan was mentioning, well, do you need to spend 24/7, basically behind the computer screen on Facebook, or do you need to hire somebody to manage your Facebook page, or basically what sort of time commitment would one be looking at getting something like this started?
Well, the truth is, I'll say to the audience is like, quit kidding yourself. You're on there for an hour or so a day anyway, right? Like the average user is on there 3 hours a day, right? So it's how you spend those 3 hours a day. Are you lurking? Are you being the weird guy in the corner that's not engaging anybody, that's just on there listening to everybody and not talking? Or are you spending those 2 hours a day that you're on there writing messages, engaging people, liking their comments, right? It doesn't take me 30 seconds to put a post out there. And then every time I get a free minute, every 20 minutes or so, I can go back for 30 seconds again and like everybody's comment and leave a comment on there, and then go back to what I'm doing. A few minutes later, it's really not. We're on there all the time anyway, or at least most of us are. So you might as well make the most of the times that you're on there anyway. But in all reality, if you just want to post 2-3 times a day, you're talking about maybe 10 minutes max. So it's not like a day max. So it's not like you have to spend a lot of time out there doing that. But the truth is, we're all on there anyway. It's just what you make of it.
Right, right. Excellent, excellent. Good advice. Well, here's just a couple of questions I just want to throw out there really quick. These are questions that I like to ask just to kind of extract as many of these gold nuggets as we can while we have this opportunity to be chatting with you, Ryan. When talking to loan officers, what would you say are the biggest mistakes you see? Let's say I'm a loan officer kind of reaching out to you saying, you know what, I've been just kind of playing with Facebook off and on for the past year, and I've got nothing to show for it. What sort of mistakes tend to be made by these loan officers that are just absolutely killing their results?
You're talking about boring stuff. Like, nobody cares about the bond market. Nobody cares about interest rates. Nobody cares about how Bernanke's minutes and the FOMC may affect potential. People buy a house once every 5 or 6 years, right? So if you catch them in that short window, good for you. But most of them could care less, right? But they do care about big banks taking our tax money and our bailout money and then outsourcing it to India, right? But that still positions me in the real estate world. So the thing that I see loan officers making the mistake about and not getting any engagements because they're talking about boring stuff. Right, and they only talk about boring stuff. So many people get on Facebook and they just talk about their business. And here's I'll give you the difference. The difference is, here's a post that somebody puts out there. Rates are low. We're closing them fast. Here's the link to apply now. Message me if you need help. Right, like that's the typical type of post you see from loan officers. Whereas a better post would be after you had your last closing and you connected with the people that you closed with, they're your friends on Facebook. After their loan was funded, you tagged them on Facebook, and your post was, I had a great time today at First American Title working with Richard, tag the title person, right? And the real estate agent that sold the Smiths their home, tag the Smiths, they're now your friend on Facebook. Even tag the real estate agent and say, what a great team we all made together to make this dream come true for the Smiths. It was awesome working for them, right? So then what you did was you syndicated the people that are your business partners. You didn't say apply for rates, but it's implied, right? Because you did a good job for somebody else who's obviously happy, because what's going to happen is the title company, the realtor, and the clients are all going to hop on that thread and say thank you. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
And so
awesome.
The biggest mistake is you're talking about boring content and you're not engaging people. And so that's what you need to be doing, is talking about things that people actually care about. Everybody, that's according to NAR, 64% of people own a home. So let's just say 30 out of every 100 friends you have are homeowners. And so, but they're not. Pillow talk for a homeowner is not, hey, baby, I wonder what the bond market's doing. Right? Pillow talk for a homeowner is, we need to buy a new house, or we need to figure out how we can save money on the bills that we have right now. And those are the type of things you need to cater to, the things that people actually talk about that relate to your industry, and not the things that your industry talks about that relates to it.
Perfect. Perfect. Love it. Love it. All right. So let's say, I don't know, I guess, give me just a second. I apologize. Questions are coming over very rapidly. So let's say you basically had 30 seconds to impart amazing knowledge, Facebook marketing, to your loan officer. How would you break that down? In those 30 seconds, the biggest piece of advice, what would that advice be?
In 30 seconds, the fastest way to attract real estate agents is by doing this. This may take me a little more than 30 seconds to set it up first. But once I get it going, you'll see. All right, so you see this is the new hashtag feature on Facebook, right? And I'm posting this so only I see it. Once I click these new hashtags, right, you see there's all these nice real estate agents out here selling homes using that hashtag. I don't know if y'all realize that or not. Okay, so actually I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy this YouTube link, which is really cool. They've got 58 views on their video. I'm going to go over here to Pinterest real quick. And think, if you have all this pulled up, it doesn't even take you 30 seconds. I'm going to add a pin from a website. The video that they were out there trying to advertise on Facebook, they're trying to get their message out there. Take this one. Pinterest is putting it together and thinking for me for a second. And I have no spelling or mathematical skills whatsoever. It's a wonder that I'm even alive today. All right, so here's that same pin, right, where their video is now embedded and syndicated, ladies and gentlemen, on another site. I'm going to go back over there and try to remember which one it was. And I'm done. I would be surprised if by the end of this video, by the time we're done in the next 5 minutes, these people haven't reached out to me. That's a super fast way that didn't take me maybe a minute and a half, going the long way, to be able to give them another piece of content and show them that I knew what I was doing, trying to help them. Excellent.
Excellent. Beautiful.
How about that for 30 seconds, ladies and gentlemen?
Perfect. Perfect. Beautiful. All right. I see. All right, I get some great comments coming over here. Let's see. And then Tracy wants to know, Ryan, do you think you have to have a separate business page, or can you accomplish most of this with your personal page only?
You can come, unless you're trying to reach the masses like me. You got to remember, I operate an international company, so unless you're trying to reach the masses like me, you can do everything from your personal page. Matter of fact, one of my close friends, Seth Larrabee, is the 4th most influential person on Facebook. He refuses to pay to promote his posts, and he refuses to open a fan page, and he makes God knows how much money a month just from his personal page. So if you work it, you know, it's just like anything else. Whatever you work the hardest is what you're going to get the best results from. But no, you don't need a business page. Perfect. Truth be told, if you're not going to run ads, who's really a fan of a loan officer or real estate agent anyway, right? Oh, I'm a big fan of my bank. Like, that's just things that people don't say.
Right, right. Well, yeah, that's something that I've often said is, you know, we unfortunately, you know, if we're being honest with ourselves, we'll admit that we're in a boring line of business to the average person. They don't find what we do to be exciting. Now, that's not a knock on, you know, loan officers. It's just that, you know, what we happen to do is not that interesting to the average person. I mean, now we're their best friend when it's time for them to, you know, get a loan, but, you know, that like you said, that's once every 5 to 10 years.
That's funny. You're everybody's everybody's best friend when someone needs money, right? Whether
Yeah.
you're a loan officer or not.
There you go. There you go. Interesting twist there. Bottom line being that, we need to find other ways to connect. And what I'm seeing here is what you're teaching is that we're taking existing content that already exists, and that content's being curated by other individuals, whether it be a real estate agent who just put a picture of a home out there, or a video of a home, or even a home seller trying to sell for sale by owner, whatever the case may be. You're finding content and you're repurposing it. You're giving them other avenues and other outlets to get that content out there. And you're doing this in a way that a lot of them are probably completely unfamiliar with some of these techniques, so you're basically bringing value to the table without even having to technically create anything new, which is kind of a shortcut.
Let's see if I can turn this off real quick. There we go.
All right, and
as you can see, I get a lot of interaction from Facebook. People reaching out on my personal page. So
I'm seeing a couple of individuals were kind of asking about how you did that, basically how you tagged that listing. And Tracy, James, Christy, yeah, we're going to actually have this available as a replay. So for those of you that missed the process, as Ryan was making those posts, this replay will be available in less than 24 hours. All right, so James wants to know how long, you mentioned something about putting the $100 a day in place for the advertisements, and he wants to know how long do you keep that $100 a day in place? Is that an ongoing thing, or is that something that you do for a particular set period of time?
I usually run it until my schedule's filled up for 2 weeks. So I usually run it for 2 or 3 days at a time, which will fill my schedule up with appointments for 10 to 12 days out in the future. And then once I go through those, once I'm about on day 10 and my schedule starts lightening up again, I'll turn it back on. So, but that's for my ads that I run to real estate agents to actually speak with them. As far as my ads that I have for like my perpetual Facebook syndicate program, stuff like that, they're running all day, every day. So, but that's a different story. Loan officers don't have like an evergreen product like that. So for your ads that you want to attract agents and home buyers and stuff like that, you'll get a certain amount of leads, and you'll just have to turn it off till you get caught up, and you just pause it and turn it back on again.
Awesome. Okay, and I have a couple individuals are asking about the posting when you're tagging those posts and you're adding the pound. Basically, where are you finding those words? Is what they're asking. Basically where.
Because I'm in the know, homie. I just know that right now. Okay, because I speak on the stage coast to coast in front of real estate agents. I have a pretty good following. A lot more following of real estate agents than I do loan officers, and so it's because I used to be a lot of loan officers competition before I was an internet marketer, so they weren't fans back in the day. But the tags that I've been teaching agents to use are coming to market, new listing, home for sale, and so those are the hashtags that are out there being commonly used by agents right now, and there's me and several others that are promoting those hashtags so that we can all find each other, right? Because that's the key. Because if you use the hashtag new listing, then the cool thing is we're going to be able to find you a lot easier, right? If a real estate agent wakes up in the morning and goes and searches that new listing hashtag, they can see what's popped up within their friends within the last 24 hours or so. So it's kind of becoming, just like Twitter, it's becoming a way to find things that you need to find a lot easier.
Right. Perfect. Okay, great. And let's see. Is there some? Okay, I think we did answer that one. Okay, is there some place that I need to subscribe to, or some feed to subscribe to find posts such as the Bank of America article?
I just look all over the news. It's full of crap that's plenty controversial. But there is some programs out there. I don't know how much they cost or whatever, but there is some stuff out there like Mortgage Mingler. I think some of my guys that are in my coaching program use it. I don't know a whole lot about it or endorse it, but I know some of my people like it, which seems to bring good content. You can go out, what I recommend doing, because nobody can be you better than you. So what I recommend doing is going through Yahoo and Mashable and Realtor.com and the sites that you like to go to, and then loading them up in either a Hootsuite or a Buffer account, and then just writing your post and then putting the links in there, and you can have it set up a week in advance if you want. And then you just add your personal touches as personal things happen during the week. Perfect.
Awesome advice. I hope you guys are taking notes because, boy, I mean, just in the past 15, 20 minutes, that's at least 4 to 5 really solid, usable pieces of advice that you could put into action right away, guys. Absolutely. Great. Well, I think we got to most of those questions, Ryan. So was there anything else that you would like to cover with us as we start to wrap up here?
Yes, buy my stuff.
How do we do that?
All right. Okay. Works like this. You can go to www.buythesyndicate.com. You may shoot that link out to everybody that's on here through chat or something if you want chat. It's BUYTHE syndicate.com. Never mind what all that says, right? Buythesyndicate.com. And what that does is you can it'll take you directly to the sales page. And it's a program that I have that teaches you how to set up these strategic alliances with your referral partners and real estate agents, teaches you how to manage them, the scripts to use, copy and paste, messages to send out to people, how to do the things that I've shown you how to do today, where to find some of those sources for information that you were talking about, how to add 500 more connections in just a week for free to your personal page, a little bonus about Twitter techniques, power of social proof, which I lightly touched on today as well. And then my buddy, my good buddy, Chris Dreamweaver put together his $1 million agent. This guy sold $180 million a year of real estate. He put together a quick training just because he's a nice guy for me called 5 Things That You Can Do to Get Business Today for Real Estate Agents. And that is a really good bonus too. And then there's my foolproof marketing formula. But all of that, right, which is a training system, one-time pay me, get this whole bunch of stuff for only $197. But wait, there's more, right? My Billy Mays voice. When you check out and you mention this webinar, then I'll also throw in my $250 whip training, whip effect training, which shows you how to position your post. It tells you where to go to get content, to position funny things like my poop sticker and stuff like that, where you can get the engagement, and it teaches you how to get the most for your EdgeRank experience. So, you know, all that's $450 or so value that for your audience today, Chad, I'll do for the simple price of the Facebook Syndicate, $197. Like I said, just mention that you were on this webinar, and I'll email you personally the super secret YouTube link to the whip effect training. And if you're not ready to buy, right, if you're one of those people that you're like, well, you know, that's cool, well, I'm going to think about it, like you're one of those kind of people, that's cool too. You can go to, let's do this, you can go to www.thefacebooksyndicate.com. And on this trusty website, you will see that there's a chance for you to, gotta love it, there's a chance for you to put your name and email address in here, and you will get 5 free videos that will walk you through some of the steps that we went through today, and then elaborate a little bit, and then it's ultimately going to try to sell you this as well. But you'll at least get some free videos in the beginning that are full of great content. So, but I'm really transparent. Like, I'm in this to make $1. This is a really good program. I offer a double your money back guarantee. And there's been hundreds of people that have bought it. Nobody's ever asked for a single dime back from me. And most people say that they absolutely love it. So that's what I have to say last, I guess.
Fantastic, fantastic. So once again, guys, I put the link, the clickable link, in the little chat box there off to the right. So again, that's www.buythesyndicate.com. Right, Ryan?
That's it.
All right, perfect, perfect. And so just to kind of clarify here and just make sure that everybody understands what they're getting, then what you demonstrated today, so for those that were asking a bunch of questions about content and, you know, how do we tag and use the hashtags and all that good stuff. So they're going to learn essentially how to do that step by step, but it's obviously going to go much, much deeper, and then show them basically how to start target, you know, real estate agents, how to get more fans, how to get more followers and connections, and basically take things to the next level.
Yes, it's my exact step-by-step process that's allowed me to get the popularity and the business that I have on Facebook. I take you behind the scenes, show you all the technical. It's mainly screenshots where I show you what buttons to push, and it's everything that you could possibly want to get your business up and running on Facebook.
Oh, okay. So this is more like social media in a box then. I mean, this isn't just Facebook. They're going to learn LinkedIn and other platforms that they can leverage. Yeah,
my pal Ron stole the socialmediasyndicate.com out from under me, so I had to go with facebooksyndicate.com.
Nice, nice. Well, and I think the beautiful thing here is that just what you've shown on Facebook, I mean, that right there can become quite a career changer just by itself. But when you start throwing in other platforms such as LinkedIn and whatnot, I mean, you're just basically leveraging your newly found talents. So if I'm the loan officer that just looked at this and was just blown away by just the basic, hey, here's how to do it in 45 minutes version, imagine once Ryan takes you by the hand and is actually showing you the step-by-step screenshots, do this, now do that, now do this. Imagine what can be accomplished. I mean, it's just phenomenal, what tools we have at our disposal that are just, like you said, we're spending an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours every single day on Facebook already. Why not make it pay off? Because right now it's a time suck. It's something that's stealing your time and your productivity. Why not? I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe other people have differing opinions, but to me, I find it enjoyable being on Facebook. I mean, there's so many fun things, but it's also easy to get distracted. Being able to take the things that normally distract you and turn it into a moneymaker. I mean, hey, I'm in, sign me up,
That's right.
Beautiful.
Get paid for who you are.
You got it. You got it. Absolutely. So I'm seeing a lot of very happy people here, Ryan. I think you effectively gave them some things to blow their mind and give them something to think about. So again, that's buythesyndicate.com, and I'm taking it everything we're seeing on the screen right now. This all comes with the package, right?
Yep. That and then some. I'll throw in, like I said, the extra bonus as well.
Perfect. So I'm seeing Twitter in there too, and I know, I'll tell you what, I get a lot of questions about Twitter because that's one of those things where you constantly hear, people making money, but it's like, how the heck can I take something that's limited to so few characters and actually turn it into a moneymaker? But again, this looks like something that can be leveraged just as we demonstrated here. So guys, again, that's buythesyndicate.com. And if anybody has any additional questions, Ryan, is there a way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, just shoot me a message on Facebook. Send me a friend request and shoot me a message on Facebook. You can actually just go to www.likeryan.com, and that's my personal page.
So that's likeryan.com.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Great. Well, guys, thank you very much for all of your awesome questions. It's been a wonderful audience, and I hope that you were taking notes. The replay will be available in less than 24 hours. I'll shoot that out in the email. I'll also post that to our Future Top Producers Facebook group. And again, I recommend taking action on this right away because, as you can see, what Ryan discussed, you can look at the screen right now and see that it works.
Absolutely. So I appreciate you having me on here, Chad.
No, thank you for joining us.
That. Now I officially feel cool, my man.
Perfect. Well, thanks again for joining us, and thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules. I hope you guys make it a wonderful and very profitable rest of the day, and we'll look forward to welcoming you aboard. Thanks again, guys. Make it a great one.